So I'm just laying some groundwork here with a bit of super basic, like E type of blues rock riffing. 0, 0, 3, 4. Can go a long way with just that simple riff. I see some people in here. Awesome. So typically you would combine that with some like pentatonic bluesy playing, and you have the whole package. Now, if you want to make it easy, you can just hit that open E string and then slide up to your position here on the 12th fret. Suchiro, what's up, my man? So if you want to try this out, maybe you know this first pentatonic box, E minor pentatonic, and it's awesome for just anything really, but definitely for some blues rock. So you can just take any of the notes contained within that box and slide up to it. For example, you can do Chuck Berry style if you want to, or you can just do slide into it and bend. Sounds awesome. So for me, this might seem basic, but it really goes down to the foundation of any kind of melody you play on the guitar, because you really don't want to be playing, especially the electric guitar, without bending notes and without utilizing the techniques that are really handy for guitarists. I mean, bending and sliding. Just take a slide. This might seem easy, but what you're doing is you're playing a whole bunch of notes chromatically. So you're doing that, and try doing that this fast on the piano. Almost impossible. So some techniques that we take for granted are actually very unique to the guitar and very cool. So if you follow the shorts on this channel, you might have seen this one. I actually did shorts and with a tab just for this specific turnaround. So if you want to learn that, just go to the channel and try to find the shorts, wherever that is. YouTube is constantly changing, but you should be able to find it somewhere on the channel page. So whenever I jam and just sit around and play some blues licks, I absolutely love to venture into some riffing as well. And typically with this kind of sound, I tend to go more for riffing. If I had a cleaner sound, I would probably, go into this kind of, where so you could do like cleaner chords. But today I was more of, like a blues rock mood. So, and then, of course, you can throw in some good faces for good measure. Okay, so what am I doing there? Maybe you want to check some of that out. The simplest version of this kind of riff is just start with your open string. Always a neat trick. So maybe try that out. It's just 0, 0, 5, 7. And you have a pretty cool riff right there. Donna. 0, 0, 5, 7. So if we use that as a kind of springboard for some blues rocky ideas. That was more of an Yngwie feel. That's better. So it's a cool recipe right there. Play a simple riff like that. 0, 0, 5, 7. And the timing there is interesting. You do so 2 zeros and then you mute. So slowly would be, so you mute after 2 zeros and then you mute after each note. So 0, 0, mute, and then 5 mute, and then 7 mute. Oh, if only I could play it. So let me just see. So please let me know if you guys can see and hear me properly. I'm still kind of working my way back to these live streams, so sometimes I just miss a setting and everything is messed up. But hopefully you guys can see and hear me. That's a cool thing you can do. When you have an initial idea, maybe you just stumbled upon a riff or a lick or anything, and you're having some fun with it, just as we've been doing with this kind of riff. You can try to come up with a response to that, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool concept. It can really help you bring out, or rather squeeze out, some extra juice over whatever you came up with. So if we're playing this kind of thing, it would be cool to have some variation, right? Sometimes you stumble upon a riff that's so strong you can just keep on playing it forever, but I doubt this is the case here. So typically you would want something to happen, maybe like some kind of turnaround. So you play the riff like 3 times, and then the 4th time you come up with something. So whatever. So and sometimes that's called referred to as call and response. It's just like a way to visualize like a musical conversation. So you have this person saying one thing, and then you get a reply. So how are you doing? I'm doing bad. How you doing? Really bad. So maybe you can try that if you have any material of your own, and maybe you got stuck and you want to come up with new variations, whatever. Then that call and response thing can sometimes help you move forward. A lot of times I also notice that when people write riff-based songs, they try to squeeze in lots of riffs and just too much good content. So basically, the song has like 10 different really cool riffs. Well, maybe that's 5 songs you're trying to squeeze into one. And sometimes it can be helpful to just remove lots of content and apply this kind of thinking instead. So if you have like an intro riff, then you have some bridge riff, and then you have a verse riff, Austin, what's up? So maybe just skip some of those riffs, just take the strongest one and think of, can I come up with a call and response to that riff? And that could give you a much more, how should I call it, like pop-oriented format, but not pop as in, Britney Spears or whatever, Taylor Swift or something, but rather something which is more easily digestible. So it can still sound like rock or metal, but you haven't squeezed quite as much content in, so it's just more fun to listen to. A lot of good songs don't have that many riffs. It's just 1 or 2 really strong pieces, and that's when you this kind of thinking can come in handy. And that's also a cool thing you can do if you're like me and you want to preferably spend your days jamming away. So what I like to do is, whenever I come up with a cool riff, I'll sort of combine that with some lead playing. And there's an expression that says that the components are when put together, are much bigger than the sum of its parts. I don't know if that translates well to English, but anyhow, the point is that if you have a strong riff and you can add some like a cool melody to it, then the whole thing gets so much better. So as you might have heard me do there, I was just jamming a little bit, and then I threw in a riff at the end, and that is a really cool concept to not only sound like you're doing something more than just jamming, but it's actually a lot of fun. It's a challenge because you often mess up, or I mess up, when I go between, rhythm, lead, and just whatever. But that challenge, not only is it cool with this challenge occasionally, it can really lead to some strong sounding material, some cool sounding playing. Basically, it means you're having fun, which is good. messed up a little bit, so you can either just jam away and see if you can correct that, or you can just, you know, start again if that's what you want to do. Oh, Megadeth. Are we in Megadeth land? I don't know. I just got Megadeth vibes there for a little while. But yeah, this is cool stuff. And obviously what I'm doing whenever I'm in a blues rock context is to have as much pentatonics plus the flat fifth or the blues note as possible. I don't know, it's just hard to beat that combination. So much good riffs and content and solos coming from that thing. So if you don't know what that means, I'm going to show you right now. So you've probably seen this, like the basic pentatonic scale. Like that. So you can add this one note. So basically it's kind of easy to remember because you get the same shapes on 3 strings, right? Now that note is going to repeat all over the guitar, and if you spend some time figuring out, you know, the notes on the fretboard, then you can kind of see where that note repeats. So where else do we have it? So now if you try those notes in combination with blues rock type of riff, it fits pretty nicely. And of course you could sort of take that another step and think in terms of, okay, so if I got this cool note when playing lead, shouldn't I be able to also use that note when playing rhythm guitar or when playing riffs? So let's try that. Let's try to add that note. Okay, that's a bit extreme maybe, but at least you get a feel for that note. It sounds kind of bad and evil. Just give me a second here. Okay, so let's try it again. That's pretty cool. So I added that flat fifth or the extra blues note. I played it up here, but you can also play it down here. And then it becomes this monster riffing tool. So if you're trying to squeeze some extra juice out of your pentatonic lines, I just briefly want to explain what I did there at the end. This is just string dampening or string muting, but it's not like, you know, like palm muting where you rest your palm here and just get lots of damped notes. It's not that kind of thing. Rather, you're killing the notes. So it's like play a note and then mute it. So you pluck one note and then you kill it, and I'm using the side of my thumb for that. And also simultaneously, what I'm pretty much doing there is while, my voice, while my thumb is killing that note, I'm also kind of repositioning my pick so that I can pick the next notes. So, oh, and while you practice that, I'm just going to tune again. Okay, so I mean, this is a lot of fun, but please do let me know if there's maybe something else you're working on. Maybe it's something that doesn't relate to blues rock at all, and you'd like to get some input, feedback, or tips, whatever. I'm here for you. So if you have any questions, Dennis, what's up, my man? Just shoot. I don't know what. It's always kind of gamble when I do these streams. To know whatever level you're at. I know that we have usually lots of beginners and then some intermediate players, and then occasionally there's some advanced guitarists as well in these streams. And so therefore it's kind of cool if you have something specific you need help with to let me know, because then I can sort of also determine what level I should be teaching at. Maybe there's no point in doing, if you guys are still working on oh well, whatever, you get the point. Maybe do some change of key, perhaps. Ray, what's up, my man? How you doing? Victor, just coming by the stream, but could you explain to me why it is so hard to sweep pick on a steel string acoustic guitar? Okay. Well, I guess best comparison I can do right now is to just remove my distortion, so at least I have a clean tone here. It shouldn't be that different because, or rather, if it feels very different than on an electric guitar with distortion, it probably means that on the electric guitar, you're not really hearing what you're doing. Because if you do hit every note correctly when sweeping, it should be kind of the same, you should be hearing those notes on the acoustic guitar as well. However, as soon as you're using, like hammer-ons and pull-offs, that is much likely to be much harder on an acoustic guitar, just because there are usually thicker strings and usually string tension seems to be higher. I guess that has to do with the thicker strings. Yeah, if you do many mistakes, you can sort of hide that on the electric guitar with both distortion and compression. But there's no such thing on the acoustic guitar, obviously. So that's probably one thing. But then, as I said, if your sweeping involves, or maybe the neck is different as well. Maybe, the acoustic guitar isn't really built for, soloing. So the radius is different, a width is different. Maybe it has a radius and neck width or profile that is more suited for, right? And it's not really intended for you to work up here with soloing. That could be it as well. So there are lots of, actually, the reason why guitars are different from each other, sometimes it's kind of hard to isolate and understand, but the explanation for that a lot of times would be many, many small factors And when combined, they make a big difference. And such factors are like the what's it called, the neck scale, and stuff like neck radius, and all, everything like distance between the strings, and of course whether you can have low or high action, and also the frets make a huge difference. For example, some acoustic or even vintage style electric guitars have like really low or thin fret wire, or maybe you have a guitar that's actually worn out, so it doesn't actually have the amount of fret wire that a new guitar has. That has a major implication on both bending, but also actually on hammer-ons and pull-offs. It's easier when you don't touch the wood. So if you have higher frets, or even those scalloped Yngwie Malmsteen frets, then it gets easier to do hammer-ons and pull-offs. All those factors come into play. Cool question, by the way. And now I have no distortion. Oh man, it scares me. So that's our riff, but now with a slightly funkier approach. This is fun. I guess we've strayed from our blues rock theme now. Oh, and we have some overdrive again. Of course, I'm not really overdoing it here. This is still a fairly low gain, but perfect for blues rock, I would say. So lots of good fun to be had with the concept I've spoken about in this video. And it never really ends. It's just a matter of your inspiration. And as always, if you're low on inspiration, what you can always do is steal or borrow from others. And I would say that's a good reason why I'm sitting here, so that you can use these concepts and let it inspire you to come up with new stuff. And maybe sometimes all you need is to inject one little new thing into your playing or into your practicing, and it makes everything come to life. So never underestimate the power of just being inspired. I don't know how that sounded, but it was fun to play. So a good thing with, try to change your tone quite often, because this tone for me now is not really, how should I say, shred oriented, or at least I find it a bit difficult to play smooth sounding faster runs with this tone. This is more of a like a dynamic and kind of expressive blues rock tone, to my ears at least, and it makes you play differently. That's a cool thing. And if you rely on being able to throw in those legato runs or whatever, or just tapping or something that kind of hides your mistakes and make it sound awesome, then it's good to once in a while dial in a tone that doesn't allow for that. Of course, it's going to feel horrible and bad and all that stuff, but if you persist, basically it's going to force you into new things, and that's really the reason why I do it. This kind of tone really forces me to play bluesier, which is my goal. So maybe you see me do something and you'd like me to deep dive into that, just give me a shout and I'll be happy to break it down for you. Cool. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and thank you for triggering my inspiration with some of your questions there. That's very useful. If you want to see more of these, you'll find them both here on YouTube, but also on our Facebook and Instagram channels. And of course, most importantly, if you want to learn from me, that's on the GMC website. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon again. Cheers.